Okay, I want to talk about something for a second. Welcome to the Shadow Business Podcast, and I have some thoughts on something, and I want to share that with you. Obviously, that's why I have a podcast already for quite some time. I want to look at the way we look at our businesses. So, when and I am also guilty of this, right? So I mean, I'm not saying that I am perfectly the best in this, but when it's going well in your business, you are being all confident and look at me and posting the wins and all those things, and then you really feel like the main character. And then when kind of versus the way you show up when it's not going well, because when it's not going well, we don't really go to, interesting, let me look at this, from more of a distant perspective, like a helicopter view. But actually, most women go straight to shame, and like it's kind of like the express lane, right, to shame. And there is a reason for this, why this happens immediately, instead of looking at it like, oh, this is apparently how it is right now, and let me just see where I can fix it. But it's actually really going straight to that feeling. And I have been working with my clients a lot around shame because it's actually a really big topic. And I don't really see any coach talk about this, because it's also not the highlight, right? It's not very interesting to talk about this, but it is not. The thing about shame is that it's not just there and it's kind of ruining your day, but it also drives your entire business behavior. So it is really making the decisions for you, the shame feeling. And that's something that we don't want to do. This is why I have the Shadow Business Podcast, and shame is a shadow, or a shadow causes shame. Doesn't really matter how you say it, but that's what it is. And so nine times, sorry, out of 10, the shame actually makes that you feel that you have to do more in your business, instead of looking at it from, what am I doing now, and which buttons do I have to push in order to get the results that I want. And so today I want to really make the case, and I know that this is a hot take for my industry, that more is not always the answer. And I actually never think it is. And I'm also going to tell you exactly what is going to make the thing for you, going to make the change. But yeah, and it's just such a normal tendency, right? So when you're in a launch and you're thinking, oh, it's actually not really going well with my launch. And then you're thinking, oh, I should really, DM thousands of people, or I should post more. And the thing is with this is that energetics here also play a role, even though I don't think, you should hang your whole entire business on energetics alone, but they do play a role. People feel that. People feel your panic. People feel that something is wrong. And yeah, you don't want that. So okay. There is three things that everyone in the coaching space actually loves, and that I actually think are very overrated. So number one is do more. Number two is perform your way to the top. And number three is the hustle. And honestly, the coaching industry and the online business industry is its entire personality. Look at the big people, right? So Alex Hormozy, Gary Vee, um, Jenna Kutcher, Amy Porterfield. Who else are there? I mean, there are so many, right? And I also do like to do a lot, but it's from a different energy. I will speak about that later. But it's the entire personality of the industry. But I disagree with almost everyone in the space on this one, because I had this idea. No, that's not going to be it, because this is the reason I see so many people do more, and they're doing more of the things that they shouldn't do. This is why. So I don't believe that you need to go for more. I think there is so much more that is going to fill your cup, and it makes you feel abundantly well, than just the sheer force, you know. And I want to give you a few examples in this. So this happens in many different industries. So my brand is called Wealth Icon, and I speak a lot about wealth. And when you're building wealth, you're not forcing your bank account to grow. It's, yeah, it would be great if you could do that, but it doesn't work like that. And you let it compound. And that is actually not woo, it's just math and it's physics and it's, you know, this eighth world wonder. And the same goes for your business. If you're being very strategic and very smart about what you're doing, you don't have to do so much. Another thing is what I see in the coaching space is when a sales tactic is not working, my suggestion to a client would never be, okay, let's just add more calls to your schedule. No, we're actually looking at your sales process, your sales shadows. Why is it actually not working? Is it because you're not there's something wrong with your process? For instance, you're getting on calls with people who are not very interesting for you. Okay, that could be a thing. But it could also be that you actually priced your offer too high and you actually don't believe that it's that worth that price. And it's so interesting because I'm doing this work constantly also with myself, right? Sounds weird, but it is. And I was looking at, I was doing for a new program, I was doing some market research, seeing what competitors are doing, right? Absolutely not to copy them, but just to see how they are positioned themselves. And my next program is going to be 500 euros. And I saw someone haven't created something less, and they charge 5,000. And this gives me so much confidence that I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's so easy for me to sell this, because now I know, okay, there is actually people who are apparently willing to pay this 5,000, or maybe not. I'm not sure if this person sells out their launch, but I mean, still, she's comfortable enough to do that. So I know, yes, my program of 500 euros will be much easier to sell. Also because of that, right? You are a part of the world, obviously, and you I mean, you don't want to compare yourself too much, but you have to understand buyers' behavior, and well, apparently that's what people do. I will, by the way, speak about this program in the next week's podcast, by the way. And I think in the meantime, I'm not really sure yet when I'm going to launch it, but you can also look in my Instagram, Sarah Birkenkamp. The link is below in the show notes. What it is exactly and what it's going to be about, but it's going to be awesome. I made the whole sales page copy this morning. I was just really on a roll, and I was just writing all these things, and I'm like, yeah, I'm really meant to do this. So yeah, it's going to be really cool. Anyway, then the third one is hustle. So we had the first one, right? So when you're building wealth, you just need time. Then the second one was this: when the sales is not working, we look at the strategy and the shadows. And the third, at the hustle, I know that there's coaches who have not taken a vacation in literally 8 years. And I mean, of course, if that's your vibe, go for it, and they're very successful. But there's also a lot of people who are doing this and who are not successful. And I just really also want to have fun in my life, excuse me. But that's not what I want. And that's also not what I want for my clients. So, and not even a little. And I also don't want to sell that story, right? So that's really where I don't agree with my competitors. So the reason why you're probably stuck right now in your business is you're not hitting the numbers that you want. Selling actually feels hard because your potential clients do not see your value yet. And it is so frustrating because you have worked really hard to get here, to this place that you are right now. And now it feels like you're just, destined to stay at this level forever. And so you're thinking you have bigger dreams than you are doing than you are currently able to dream of. But you feel like I can't deliver on that dream. And so what happens when you're stuck at this level is that when money gets tight, which I spoke about in the beginning of the episode, you are starting to panic. and you will, start busting out more content. You will buy more ads also without a good organic sale content plan. And this is really, really not a good idea. Never, ever buy ads, social media ads. That maybe you can do Google ads if you want to, but social media ads, if your social media is fluff, it is a waste of money. You're flushing money down the toilet. So please don't do that. Maybe you start a podcast on a whim. Maybe you organize a retreat or an event, and you do actually everything and anything that gets you a result this month. And so you can relax maybe for a couple of months, but then the hustle cycle will start all over again. And you don't actually want that. I know that because you're a grown woman. You're not here to hustle. I know that. You're here to compound, to leverage, to use your power, to have your own brilliance be the asset, because it is. I know it is. I work with so many, I work and I have worked with so many women, and I'm just thinking, of course, yes, you're brilliant. I knew it, but again, it's proven. So you want it to be easier. You want it to be more fun. You want it to be less like the grind that it currently is. And there is nothing wrong with that. So what if I'm telling you now that it's not about doing more? Then, okay, Sarah, what is it then? What do I have to do? I call this the divine proportion. I've been speaking about this a lot, but I'm so convinced of this method. I'm doing it with my clients. I'm doing it with myself as well. It is not leaving your strategy to chance. Actually, we're working very strategically here, and it's actually calculating exactly what needs your focus right now. We did this inside Summer Splash, and right now we're doing it in divine proportion. So it's no more, it's no less, and that's the thing. It's really the divine proportion. It is the perfection from nature, the mathematical method, where you can exactly see, okay, right now I have 3 different offers, and I want to rotate these 3 different offers throughout the entire year, and I want to launch each offer twice a year. And then my content has to look like this, and you want to really understand how it all connects and how it's all making sense and also compounding. And so I don't think that there is that business, or that you should see your business as something limitless. I actually think, and I don't think it's limitless in income, but I think it has a limit as to what you can do right now, and being honest about that, because I see so many, and I know that there's also success stories, but I see so many burnouts because they think, oh no, I have to be limitless and that's it. No, it doesn't. It's not there. We want to have the nuance. So I don't see that businesses grow through force. They never do. And so businesses grow through compounding, applied in the right proportion, at the right time. Not everything all at once, forever, until you burn out, but actually the one specific thing that matters right now done well. And I've also done this wrong, right? So I'm not going to say that I have been perfect in this. So I am someone who really brushes over things very quickly. So it's also kind of a note to self, this divine proportion method. But this is the total opposite of the more model. And it's not add another funnel, add another offer, add another 5 a.m. wake up call. It's actually asking yourself, and be honest, given where I am right now, what is out of proportion and what is the smallest fix? What should I actually do? Do you have to actually start a membership right now? Or maybe you shouldn't at this moment. Do you actually have to have a mastermind right now? Or maybe you shouldn't. Should you start a new series or work with new material? Maybe not. So this is one thing that I don't think many people speak about, and it's kind of the whole point, obviously. But as long as you're building your business and also building your wealth, you are not doing shadow work, then you will always feel behind. And always. And because it will never be enough. So shadow work is also a big part of being in divine proportion, because it really, and because I think also when you've done shadow work, you understand that you don't have to do more, right? So your shadows are the parts of you that you you've hidden a long time ago, usually way back in your childhood. Maybe some things happen in when you were at a higher age, but most of the time is from your childhood. And actually, your entire behavioral pattern is built around keeping those shadows hidden. So you behave in a way. So, for instance, with the shame that we spoke about, um, you behave in a way that you're not going to, people are not going to be able to see your shadows. And most women, because I've seen this, build their whole businesses on the beliefs that were handed to them by their parents, even though they don't want to. And sometimes it can be the exact beliefs of their parents, or it could be the exact opposite of the beliefs of the parents, right? And also maybe a little bit by their peers, but most of them it's parents or siblings. So that, which means that if you desire a sold out launch or a next revenue milestone, it is often not fully yours. And money is never really the reason underneath it, never. So when you've done the shadow work, you finally understand, why did I want to sell out those launches? Yeah, because you have to prove something to, I don't know, maybe your father. And so when you've done the shadow work and you're regulated, you actually get to build your business on your real needs, and something will click for you. You know exactly how much money makes you free. It's not going to be some random big number that you picked up on because you thought it was sounding impressive. No, you want to grow to a number that is fully, truly yours. And we're going to speak about this more into the next episodes. It's going to be a 3-part series from next week on in this podcast. But yeah, it's why are you doing the things you do in the way that you do? So another hot take about the business industry, and this is the last one, is that I think also the online business industry is about to change so much. And for years, we have been taught to perform, to prove that we're the expert, the authority. But I see that we're moving more to the honest era, where you show the human side of your business. And this doesn't mean that it has to be only your personal brand. Absolutely not, because you have your business brand, you have your personal brand. I speak about this in my program, The Obvious Choice. But it's not just the polished or the filtered version of who you are, but because people are exhausted by the performance. And what people actually crave at this moment is trust. And you don't get trust anymore through tactics. If you actually get there through doing shadow work, plus a specific strategy that fits to who you are. And so the combination of a strategy in proportion to the industry, to yourself, and to every single part of your business, that's what I mean by divine proportion. And that's where you want to be. And so if this sounds like something that you're thinking, oh, yes, if you're constantly nodding and thinking, yes, I understand what you're saying, and you're wondering what your business will look like in proportion, where you might have been overbuilding, where you've neglected parts, etc., what actually needs your attention right now, this is the exact work we do inside my Divine Proportion Mastermind. This is a 1-year mastermind where you get fully supported, and it needs to be a year because throughout the year, my clients, because it's already 1.5 year in, and right now I'm doing the doors open, then they will close again on Friday noon. And then I will open up the wait list for the next round, which will open on Black Friday and this year. And then the doors will actually open on January 1st, or it will be probably 5th or 6th or something like that. But this needs time. This also needs time. And I know that a big investment like that is quite a big step. I'm putting the link in the show notes so you can check it out. But I feel that this is what's needed, 1 year, to build your business in divine proportion. Because we are going to refine, refine your offers, make them stronger, make them sharper. We're going to create the content for the offer that fit the offers. Then we're going to connect all the offers that you have throughout the entire year. We're going to make a plan with that and see how we can maybe up-level the retention rate in your business. So for people to buy again from you. We're going to work obviously on your brand. This is not just the visuals, even though I do like to help you with that. But it's mostly about messaging, what do you have to say, mission, vision, what do you stand for, what is something that you can talk about 24/7, that, and launching sales, and also money work, right? So what, also pricing, but also what do you want to focus on right now and reinvest in. And this is a process. This is not something like I give you a plan and then you're going to do it. No, this needs back and forth. And yeah, it's a very personable mastermind. I know all my clients' businesses by heart. So if you want to do this with me, you don't have a lot of time when you're listening to this. Actually, at the minute it's published. And if you're too late, then you can subscribe for the waitlist. So no worries, you can join in half a year. But you can find it in the show notes. All right? Good. I wish you a happy day and see you soon in the next episode. Thank you for listening. Bye.